Save the Semantics, episode 137. It is February 20th, 2021. My name is Myro. This is the podcast where I ramble on for 20, 30 minutes, depending on how I feel, depending on the shit that I want to talk about, but usually within that length. I recorded last weekend, actually, but I did two separate recordings, and it felt a little too disjointed, and I don't know. It didn't feel complete, and I'd much rather do just like a full length, like a full session, rather than just kind of split it up into bits and pieces. Just because I'm lazy and I don't want to put things together. I'd rather just have everything just in one single thing. So yeah. I have 2 consecutive weekends of just kind of where it feels like I don't have anything urgent going on, which is nice. Not that I have really, but like, I don't know. I've had like, testing and shit on like weekends, and like I didn't really have downtime from like work or anything like that. So now I'm sort of taking a break from exams, just because right now I'm, going through a busy period of time with work. So, now it's sort of like I'm giving myself kind of that break a little bit, which is nice. And I don't know, there's only so much you can do right now, but I feel like it's nice to kind of, give yourself some time, whatever time that is, catching up on shit. I still haven't really, like, I'm like, I sort of told myself that I'm going to watch some shows or whatever, but, and I mean, I've been watching some anime and whatnot, but it's just, it is what it is. Like, it's just trying to, not trying to, you know, overload myself with a bunch of shit, because then it's just like, oh, all right. Then I'm not really relaxed or anything like that. It just kind of takes away from what I was initially even trying to do. Like if I'm trying to like find something to watch, and then it's just like that just takes up my time. It's like, well, what was the point of that? Like now I'm just like unhappy with the fact that I didn't even do anything, So it's like might as well just been better off. I would have been better off just sitting there and not doing anything. This is the first time I've been like out and about recently. Like I just got myself some food, some lunch, pretty hefty meal here. But yeah, it's I didn't realize how like how poppin' it was like on the weekend. God damn it, I'm fucking up my shit. I didn't realize how like active it was out there right now. It's nice right now, I guess, maybe just because the weather's nice and everything, but it seemed busy. Like I didn't really like traverse the streets or anything, but like the area where it's usually packed is looks like it's packed. It looks like it's busy. Like it looks like what it looked like you know pre everything. I guess I've just been out of the loop. I don't know. It's just like people are out and about, which is like wild. Yeah, I mean, and considering like whatever California is doing is just kind of like, so is it okay? Like, can we go? Can we go out? Like, is it okay? Are we okay? Like doing that? Like, is that frowned upon? No, okay. And I'm like, get brunch or whatever. It's like I don't know. It's as always. I'm like conflicted about that. I mean, it's good that people are able to you know support businesses, I guess, and people have. It's good to see that restaurants have staff and they're working and everything like that. But I saw like I just passed by. There's a outdoor sitting for a restaurant, and like the waiter was like is interacting with the guests. And this is such like a, this is not even novel at all. Like I'm always so behind on just like certain ideas and shit. It's just like, Myra, we've been talking about this for like the last year. Like I don't know what the fuck you've where have you been? You know, it's like I've been inside, man. Haven't haven't done anything. I haven't interacted with people. So this is my first exposure in a minute. But it was, you know, a restaurant outdoor setting, and like the waiter was like interacting with the, you know, the guests, and like they didn't have their masks on because they were about to eat, and he had his mask on, and he was there's like no, I don't even know what's even the point of that, you know, like what's even the point? It just doesn't like, just that interaction just completely contradicts like everything that we're trying to do. It's just like, I don't know, man. Like there's just no way. There's not even like a attempt to like. I'm not blaming the waiter at all, of course, but it's just so funny. It's just funny and kind of sad that it just doesn't even really make that much sense in terms of just like how we're trying to, you know. I mean, it's hard. Like I can't imagine when I used to do, you know, I used to work as wait staff. Like I can't imagine like trying to kind of maneuver in this environment nowadays. Like that's it's got to be incredibly stressful and just shitty for them. Obviously, with, you know, just like their livelihoods at stake. You know, to serve some people that wanted to go out on a Saturday. I don't know. It's just kind of funny to look at. It just kind of, I don't get it. You know, I don't really get it, but I understand the feeling of wanting to, you know, kind of pretend that things are not what they are right now, and have some, you know, have a routine in the sense of like going out and eating with people and shit like that. I just don't, I'm not even close. I'm not even close to comfortable to doing with doing that. And I mean, I think that's pretty obvious with just how, you know, if I've expressed myself, but I'm not even close to, like, I don't even know like when the next time will be for me to feel comfortable enough to like go eat out with like friends and whatnot. There's only like a couple times where I did that last year, and it was like pretty, you know, there's like pretty particular cases about it. So it's like I don't even, you know, especially now is when you know, when we did that, it was much it wasn't as bad as what it is right now. And I haven't even really been keeping track of how like the cases have been or anything like that recently. I think I just heard that there's sort of like a downward trend of cases, which is good, you know. I know the vaccines are still kind of being administered in the area and whatnot, so, you know, it's hopeful. It is hopeful for sure. It's just, you know, I think I'm just looking at it from my own very narrow lens of, you know, being stuck in the house and like, you know, and just kind of viewing it from that perspective. It's just like, I don't know. It's gonna take a while for me to get accustomed back into kind of that, in a position of like, just even, you know, just interacting with people. This is another thing I've talked about before. It's just like getting back into like a space where I can just socialize again in like a sort of normal context. Like it's gonna be a minute, you know. Like I can't even like, I feel like I can't even order food right anymore. Like I'm like, yo, I don't know. Like I just want like what I want, what I usually want. it's I can't say that. Like this doesn't even make sense. Like if I'm not a regular at the restaurant, I can't order shit anymore. Like it's a nightmare. Like I just have to like rework. I have to like retrain my brain to kind of like talk to people again, which is weird, and I don't even know. It's so strange, for sure. It's gonna take a minute, you know. Like, can I even walk right anymore? Like, I'm gonna be like so like, it's gonna be so unnecessarily like, I'm gonna feel so unnecessarily like self-conscious about shit just because like I haven't like, you know, these are things that are like gonna be new to me, sort of. They're gonna be kind of novel, you know. Of course, I go out and for groceries and whatnot and food once in a while, like right now. But it's just like, just adjusting back to everything is gonna be just sheesh, man. Jesus Christ. Anyways, yeah, I'm kind of. It's a nice little break of sorts, This is like a weekend kind of, off of work and everything. Like it should feel sort of like a. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But I'm trying to relax and I'm trying to like just kind of chill and everything like that. Like this is what I usually kind of did on like actually no, that's not true. Because the weekends I was working, so this is sort of like a different. This is different for me. Like having like weekends off is kind of a weird thing. Like the time that I spent relaxing, like during school and stuff, during during college, was like during the weekdays when I in between classes and whatnot. Like I remember like my last year, before everything, like I spent my time just kind of chilling a lot, and that's kind of like that's how I like to spend that time is just kind of give it to myself, um, once in a while hang out with people, but a lot of the time, so in that way that things haven't really changed all that much. Like I like spending time with myself, by myself, just doing random shit, Sometimes I get a little frustrated because I don't know what I want to do. And like it takes a while for me to make a decision in terms of in terms of where I want to go and how I want to spend that time, but yeah, I don't know. In that case, things haven't really changed that much. It's just going to come down to me getting back into the swing of things in terms of once I do start, working in a, physical capacity and, interacting with friends and everything like that. But, yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't know. Just kind of reiterating a lot of points that I've made during the past year. So in that case, nothing's really changed. But it's it's just funny to me, just first time being out and about for the first time in a minute. Can kind of play with your perspective, I guess. I don't know. So what have I been doing? outside of work, I've been playing a lot of Rocket League. That shit is addicting. It's a lot of fun. Like it's been a minute since I've sort of been fixated. I've been kind of involved in a game for a while. I sort of haven't really had a game where I've been like, oh yeah, this is something that I really want to get into right now. Rocket League's kind of just caught my attention because it's free for one, and also it's just very easy to get into. It's simple. There's not really any crazy mechanics, and a lot of the skill involved you kind of just learn as you go, which is kind of cool. And it's just fun. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward game. Nothing too complex or anything like that. I think that when I was trying to, and I still kind of am sort of on the fence about Ni no Kuni. I haven't really touched that game in a minute just because I've gotten stuck at this one point in the game. And I think I've talked about this before. Like, it's a little difficult for. I think I'll eventually get back into it, but it'll take a minute just because. Once I reach sort of a point where I can't really, what is it? I can't really progress. Like I get pretty frustrated with that. This happens with like a lot of games. The most notable one comes to mind is Ocarina of Time, like a while back. I think I was stuck on the water temple for I think it was like a year or 2 years. I didn't play Zelda because I just like I couldn't get past the water temple. Like I didn't know where the fuck to go. I think everyone knows how much of a nightmare that dungeon is, but I was genuinely stuck. Like I didn't think I had like the right key in order to open the right door and whatnot. I didn't know where to go. There was just like, there's no guidance. There's just so directionless that you get so lost easily. So that's probably the most like, the one that comes to mind in terms of whenever I do get stuck. I don't play it for a while, but I do eventually get back into it. What else? Yeah, I think that one for sure. Some other games, probably some other RPGs where I just get stuck and I don't really want to continue on because it's more frustrating trying to continue than it is just playing through it. Like it's more frustrating than fun, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't really see it as worth my time, I guess. So yeah, I've put that on hold. I've been thinking about maybe, I don't know, other games that I could get into, but I guess I'm not really in that much of a video game mood right now. I'm not that into getting a new game, starting up like a story and then going through it again, It's a lot of work, I feel, on my end, So I think I just want something that's easy to just get into, like Smash, and in and out, no worries. There's no emotional attachment to the characters or anything like that, right? You can't get emotionally attached to a car in Rocket League. Maybe you can, I don't know, but it's not as what is it? It doesn't expect as much from you, and I don't really expect as much going into it, so that's why it's easy to get into those games. Speaking of Smash, actually, they revealed Pyra and Mythra from Xenoblade 2, which is pretty exciting. I just, not just, but last year I just finished Xenoblade 2, so I think that's pretty cool that they just added those characters. I know a lot of the Smash community is like pissed off because that was another anime swords person and shit like that, and they just get so I don't know. It's so funny too. Like who do they expect? Like I don't know who else they can really add. You know what I mean? Who else they can add from other games? I'm sure there's other. I don't know. There's probably a bunch of other games, but what do they expect? It's just kind of funny. So I still haven't bought the DLC, and I don't have any of the new. The only one I have that's a DLC fighter is Piranha Plant because that was free, and I've just been too cheap to buy the fighter pass. But I don't know. Maybe I will because it seems fun to play as. There's quite a lot of new characters, and I don't know, like since they've announced DLC characters, so maybe I'll get back into that. Not get back into it, but maybe I'll purchase one of those fighter passes and play some new characters maybe. I haven't played online in a minute, so maybe I'll get back into that too. So yeah, we'll see. I think it's a lot of people have commented on this, but I think it is cool that they've added those characters from Xenoblade. It it can only be beneficial. Like I think it can only provide more exposure for the series, right? I think because Xenoblade Chronicles is still one of my favorite games, and I think I'm really happy that they've released a definitive edition. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it. I've been watching a lot of like playthroughs of the game. I've been like seeing like sort of the differences. It looks really good. Like I have the original one on the Wii, and the graphics do obviously it doesn't hold up or anything like that, but I've just been the newer cutscenes and everything like that. They look really good. All the animations, all the character facial animations look really good, and they look all expressive and everything like that. So, I'm happy that it kind of if people weren't interested in the series before, it might intrigue them a little bit. I think in terms of 1 versus 2, I'm still on the fence about it. I don't know. I think I obviously the first one still has a pretty. I still have a very close attachment to the first game just because I for so long. I mean, I've talked about this before, but like the sort of the journey for me to get that game. It took me so long to purchase that game, and when it finally did, like it kind of I didn't I had my expectations and it far surpassed them. So, I just have that attachment to that game. And the second one that I just completed is it's also really good. I just don't know. I think in terms of like strengths and weaknesses, I think the first game is a little more. The story is a little more compelling in my eyes, just with its twists and turns and everything like that. I think it's very well done. I think obviously the voice acting is a little better in the first game, but the second one has fantastic gameplay. The gameplay is so fun once you really get into it, and the story's good too. So um, I don't know. I think I don't know if I'll ever um, what is it? I don't know if it's hard to really compare and contrast. I think they both have their own strengths and weaknesses, and I enjoy them both quite a lot. In terms of um, shows, I've been keeping up with ReZero. I've talked about that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think just the pacing has slowed down considerably. I think I've made the same exact comment last time too, but it's just like I still think it's interesting, but right now they're doing a lot of expository stuff. So they're talking about Roswell's history and the sanctuary's history and stuff like that. But it's I think it just the both the tone and the pacing has considerably shifted since like the first half of the season. So it's a bit of a change. You know what I mean? Um, and the last 3-4 episodes we've sort of been away from Subaru, and I think that's kind of been like the biggest detractor maybe for me. I still, like I said, I still enjoy. I've enjoyed the show so far, but I think it's just in terms of me being engaged with each episode is just kind of changed a little bit, just because I think maybe there's not much involvement. There hasn't been that much involvement with Subaru. Like a lot of it has been like Amelia talking about her past, talking about the sanctuary's past, which I'm not. I don't know. I'm not super engaged about it. Like it's interesting, but it's not. I don't know how. I don't know how necessary it is. You know what I mean? Like Roswell's an interesting character on his own. This is kind of my own perspective and kind of my own opinion. It's a little picky on my end, but I think he's interesting of a character enough where you don't really need to tell, you don't really need to reveal his backstory, and I would still be like, okay. And I don't really, his motivations are still like, even when he does provide his own explanations for motivations, it doesn't really change my perspective on him that much. I think it gives a little bit more context to his actions, obviously, but providing more backstory, I don't really think helps that much. Because I still feel the same way about him. I still think he's like an intriguing character. And I still don't really fully understand his motivations. I don't really understand why he does what he does. And maybe there's more information later down the line that gets revealed, but I don't think it really adds that much. I think he is a pretty important character. I understand that, and his relationship with Super is pretty interesting. But I just don't think that giving him giving him and the setting this backstory I don't know. I get why they're doing it. Of course, I understand I understand the reasoning for why they're providing this backstory and these episodes and whatnot, but I just don't think it does that much. I really don't. I think the mysticism of the place in itself was interesting enough where we don't need um, all this padding. I don't know. I don't know if I'm wrong or if I'm what is it? If I'm sort of the black sheep in that way of thinking. I don't know if that's even the right term, or if I'm alone in that perspective or opinion. But I just I don't know if it's really all that necessary to give all that backstory and all that exposition. But um, I think it's just based on last episode, it seemed like it's kind of getting back into the sort of the swing of things with Subaru and his misadventures, you could call it. But yeah, I don't know. ReZero is interesting though. I still think it's a really good show, and there's a lot of interesting storytelling elements, obviously, interesting characters and whatnot. And I'm still invested for sure. I'm also watching. This is a much more lighthearted show, but I've been watching this one called what's it called? Something Nozaki-kun. It's about a manga artist who also happens to be, high schooler. And he's pretty famous, but he doesn't really. He tries to tell people that in the first episode, he tries to tell people that he's, this one pretty well known manga artist, and the people don't believe him because he doesn't really sell that appearance that well. But it's that and sort of the relationship between him and this girl who has a crush on him, and she tries to, tell him how she feels, but she just doesn't. She just blunders it every time, and it's just like not just that, but just kind of the interactions and kind of different. I guess you could call it slice of life. I don't know, but it's a comedy, and I really enjoy it. I think it looks like there's only 12 episodes, which suck because I'm like 7 episodes in, and there's only like 4. No, how many left? Can I count? 8, 9, 10. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5 more episodes left, which sucks because I really I want just more of these characters. Like, they're all incredibly charming, and the world setting is a lot of fun, and it's very lighthearted. And I think I'm just kind of in the mood for that sometimes, at least recently too. So it's kind of been a nice change of pace, I guess. Yeah, these types of shows of, like, very lighthearted anime, this and like Psyche K. I just have they're so good. I don't know, they're just so easy to get into. Yeah, I've just been been in the mood for easygoing shit lately. Nothing too heavy. No 50-minute episodes of just dark shit and fucked up imagery. Like, I don't need that right now, you know what I mean? No disrespect to any of those shows, but I'm not in the mood for that. So, these kind of lighter shows sort of, you know, apply to my palate pretty well, I feel like. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. That's gonna do it for today. Um, Again, I want to upload more consistently because this is one of the only things that's sort of been a constant that I should kind of hold myself to do, just because I don't know, it's good to have some kind of routine. So I want to try to upload at least twice a month, at most. At least, not at most, at least. I should push myself a little bit more than just kind of holding myself back. Not that there's anything really urgent that I want to talk about. But I want to do it more. I want to be consistent, like I've always said. Yeah, this has been Save the Semantics, signing off.